everybody. This is Jackson, the powerlifting preacher, and I want to talk to you about my new favorite lifting shoe. So, I'm kind of a oddball, I guess. I really like shoes. I like buying different kinds of shoes, and I've always enjoyed finding the best shoe for the right, for different jobs and different tasks. And so for powerlifting, my old favorite years ago was made by Reebok. It was designed by Mark Bell with Slingshot and Jesse Burdick. It was called the Reebok CrossFit Lite TR. And it looked like a beefed up Chuck Taylor. It was a sweet shoe. Anybody that has a pair, that still has a pair, you're lucky. Anybody that remembers them being big and popular knows what I'm talking about. They were an awesome looking shoe, and they were a great shoe to lift in because they were very grounded to the floor. Your feet felt glued to the floor. You had enough support from the high top of the shoe. But then Reebok stopped making the shoe. As all good things must come to an end, and unfortunately every shoe that I like seems to get discontinued anymore. So from then it was a never-ending quest to find the right shoe to lift in. I tried it all. I've had a couple different pairs of Olympic shoes I use for, like Olympic weightlifting heel shoes that I use for squat and bench. Never really cared for wearing them. They just felt too narrow to me, and I just didn't feel as stable in them. On squats, I'd get pitched forward. On bench, it was really hard for me to feel anchored down to the bench. So I've had those. I've had nanos, different types of Reebok nanos, and those are great to lift in. They're great shoes. I've got no complaint against the nano, but I would like something that's a little more of a high top, And, I've got a pair of barefoot shoes. I got a pair of Zero barefoots. I wear those every day at work. But in here lifting, they're lower top, and again, I just didn't feel as anchored to the floor in them. They're kind of flimsy. You got to find that right balance of, feeling glued to the floor, the shoe holding up good whenever you're putting foot pressure across the shoe. And I never really got into wearing Chucks because they just look narrow to me for my foot. So, and it's been a never-ending quest for me to find this shoe because, like I said, I like shoes and I like function and form. There's nothing wrong with wanting a shoe that performs well and looks good. And, I just wanted that classic look that the Reebok shoe had. And up until recently, I thought the only option was a pair of Chuck Taylors. But before I got a pair of Chucks, I just happened to stumble across these bad boys. PF Flyers. If you remember them from Sam Watt or the age-old slogan, guaranteed to make any kid run faster or jump higher. I will add guaranteed to make anyone squat heavier as well. I love this shoe. I didn't know they still made them, and I just happened to stumble across them one day when I was looking for shoes. I think I Googled best flat-soled lifting shoes, and the PF Flyer came up. You can see it's a little bit wider in the toe box than a Chuck, and it's just other than that, there's a lot of similarities to a Chuck. I honestly haven't wore a pair of Chucks in forever, so I can't compare it a whole lot, but I don't need to now. This shoe is phenomenal. So let me zoom in here. You can see it's got a good looking classic logo right there. It's a little bit wider on the front, and it's got these little rivets on the side, unlike a Chuck that's flat on the side. It's nice and secure for your foot. It's a good secure fit, good sole. And whenever I'm wearing these, squatting, deadlifting, bench pressing, whatever, I'm anchored to the floor. I'm stable, and they feel sturdy. And as an added bonus, they just look sweet. So I just wanted to get on here and say, I now have a new favorite lifting shoe that I can confidently say I wear for all three lifts. And I highly encourage you, if you're in the market for a new lifting shoe, give PF Flyers a try. Guaranteed to make any kid run faster, jump higher, and squat, bench, and deadlift heavier.